All right, very cool. We are live again. How's it going, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist, baby. I'm just setting up the phone here. Just a second. And that way we have some cool je ne sais quoi. That's like my favorite word. Because I don't know what it means, right? Je ne sais quoi. So welcome to the new live. This is a new painting I will be doing here for you guys. It is acrylic on paper. And so I decided to record some of the stuff that I've been doing here so that way it doesn't get lost, right? It doesn't just get lost. It's not just created in my studio and then we don't get to see it again. So I thought it was a pretty cool way to keep some documentation of the work. So I've been working on, as you guys saw, the other one that I did. Those of you who have seen it, I've been working on some of this sketches that I did. Oh, sorry about that. I've been working on some sketches that I've been doing, and so I really like this ones, right? I really like this very cool little sketches that I was doing, and I have another one here that I'm going to do right now with you guys. Okay, and the idea came out of I was thinking about some quotes. I was looking at some quotes of Maya Angelou, and I really love. I love this woman. I love her message. I love everything that she stood for, and. So I was looking at the quotes, and it just kind of reminded me of this idea of a sacred mother, right? So this is a painting a sketch that I just started thinking about the idea of sacred mothers. Sort of like a Virgin Mary, and you know, just a Holy Mother, Sacred Mothers. I don't know how, depending on the. So I'm going to start out with a charcoal. Okay, a charcoal sketch here. And again, nothing of what I do here, guys, is set in stone. Okay, so if you see something that you are like, man, how would I do that or whatever, don't think about it too much. It doesn't really matter. Okay, it doesn't really matter, believe me. What matters is that you just do the work. Some people get stuck on that. They get stuck on the how did he do that? Why is that? You know, why is that there or whatever? And so you lose the magic. You lose on the magic. You know, when you get stuck on that kind of stuff, you start losing the magic of the whole reason of the painting. Okay. You start losing the whole idea, the reason of the painting. The reason of this type of paintings are meant to really look at things differently, you know, getting out of your comfort zone of what you're used to doing. That's really what they're for. They're not meant to, they're not academic pieces, they're abstract pieces, really meant to touch a little something deeper, right? A little something beyond just what we're so used to. Again, if you guys have any questions as to what I'm doing, let me know. Okay, let me know. I will answer them. The last one I couldn't because I didn't record it. I thought I was going to record it. I thought I was recording it, and I didn't. So the last one is definitely lost. And there's beauty in simplicity. Okay? As who said that? I think it was Leonardo da Vinci is the ultimate sophistication, simplicity. And I couldn't agree more with Da Vinci, because, I mean, if you don't agree with Da Vinci, what the hell, you know? A little bit of the ideas of Alphonse Mucha. I think it's Mucha. It's his last name. Which sounds funny because in Spanish, mucha is, well, it's mucho, right? But you can use mucha. It means a lot, plenty. So when I think of Alphonse Mucha, I think Alphonse Plenty. Then again, I want to make it a bit more plumpy, right? We want to have a little bit more of that freshness, a little bit more plumpy. And if this is not your cup of tea, it's totally cool. But if it is, you know, hang out. I'm not for everybody. I know that. Some people like it. Some people detest what I do. But thankfully, not hopefully, thankfully, a lot of people like it, and that's how I'm able to make a living doing this. Enough people do that I can make a living. Look at that. Ooh la la! A la Francois. So this is the sketch. Again, I'm going to show you the sketch. This is the sketch. And back there is the big one. Okay? Big old sketch back there. Let me try. There we go. And let's see this now. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is following a little bit of, oh man, I need some coffee. First things first, some coffee. Oh yeah, baby. Coffee. Coffee is what we need. Coffee is what we need. I'm gonna get some black. I like using this black, this golden carbon black. Okay, very sophisticated, very serious, very highly pigmented. So I like to mix it with water because, well, not mix it, but the brush. I like to get the brush pretty wet because it's a very serious. What I mean serious is that it's very pigmented, you know. So any little thing is very. You can really tell, right? It really shows. So I like to water it down just a little bit so that I can flow. I can flow a little bit. See? Look at that. And that is how we start this painting. And again, the looseness will set you free, baby. Yeah! The looseness will set you free. If you're not loose, you're tight. And if you're tight, only dead things are tight. Just a reminder, okay? Just a little reminder. Only dead things are tight. Stiff and tight. Okay? If you're gonna be tight, maybe be tight, but don't be stiff. Maybe that's the word. You can be tight. And when people are like, that's tight, but it's not stiff. Look at that. Ooh la la. And this is how we get this started. Now what I do after this is just an outline, right? This is an outline. What I do after that is that I'll get a bigger brush and then I'll start blocking. Okay? Well, thank you so much, Diane. Diane M. Wolf says, I love what you do and how you do it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get one of these brushes. Very expensive, 99-cent brushes. Extremely expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block this, okay? And I'm going to look for places that I can block. Look at that. You see? It's already a different energy when you start blocking. It already brings in a different... It's all about energy, baby, okay? It already brings a different energy. And the way to play this game is to not do this. Okay, you start doing that. Maybe it's your style. I don't know. The way to play this game is to push. Okay, it's to push. Okay, sort of like welding. Those of you who know anything about welding, I don't know anything about welding, but I saw people that welded, and I tried welding, and they told me you got to push the weld. There's a reason for that. Someone told me that there was a specific reason for that, but I use that example. Okay, you got to push it. Okay, you got to push it. Push the brush. Don't drag the brush. Don't go and drag it. Push it, so that you're able to. There's a different energy comes in. A different energy is very kung fu-y. Okay, so just saying. Let's see here. Very Jeet Kune Do. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little bit of flesh tone, and I'm gonna start putting some flesh tone on the face and here. And for that, I'm gonna use some of the stuff that I had here already. I'm just gonna put some white, a little bit of yellow, and some red. And I don't get stuck so much on the flesh tone. I just try to put a color down and then highlight it. Okay? That's very much what I do. I just kind of play with it. So, and I'm gonna do it with a big brush. Okay, want to do it with a big brush because, again, it allows for that spontaneity. Is that how you say it? Is that the word? Spontaneous, spontaneity, sponte something. Spontaneous, but I don't know how to say that word. Here we go. Okay, so I have a bit of a little flesh tone here. Let me get a little bit more, tone it down, darken it a little bit, and then here we go. And then this is what I do. Okay, nothing too serious. Okay, even water a little bit of water. Nothing too serious. The moment that you start getting too serious, you start losing the mark. By the way, those of you who don't know, losing the mark means sinning, or sinning means losing the mark. I learned that in I don't know, there's a book somewhere. So you don't want to lose the mark. When I was growing up in Mexico, there was this song about when we did piñatas, right? Piñatas, the piñata is a tradition. From what I understand, it's a Catholic tradition to get people to understand, I think it was a way that the Spanish priests were trying to preach to the native people in the new Mexico, no? The new Spain, how they called it, is Mexico. And they did this piñata thing that had I think it was 7 corners, something like that. I remember learning this in theology, 7 corners. I'm not religious, guys, by the way. I talk about stuff that I've learned in my life. And the 7 corners, the 7 cones represent a capital sin, I believe. So you have to punch down you have to bat off the corners, each sin, so that you can receive the gifts, which is the container has all the gifts, which is the candy, right, and the fruit, and that's where the piñata thing comes from my understanding of it. And no, I don't do research. Okay, I just I had a professor who taught me this, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, I thought it was pretty cool because the song goes "Dale, dale, dale, no pierdas el tino," which is don't miss the mark, right? Because if you lose it, you lose your way. I thought it was pretty cool. It's actually very. I like reading esoteric stuff. I thought it was pretty extremely deep, even though maybe people have lost the meaning of that, or maybe don't look at it like that. I like looking at stuff like that. It kind of drives me. It makes me feel happy when I find stuff like that. Yeah, very deep teachings there. I like finding little teachings, life lessons, and little teachings throughout history. And one of my favorite ones that I've read lately is the what's it called? Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Well, it's just called Meditations. Just some journal entries that extremely badass Marcus Aurelius. Anyways, that's kind of my cup of tea. Those of you who want to know a little bit more about this crazy artist. Look at that. Ooh la la, baby. Je ne sais quoi. See? Okay, now I have to move from that because now I'm pigeonholing myself in there. I started thinking and I started going into it, so I need to move from it. So the way to move from it is to do something like this. See, it works like an eraser. To do something like that and then move. Anytime you spend too much time somewhere, you start pigeonholing yourself. Okay? This is a rule of thumb. Be very careful. Okay? I do it. Everybody does it. Be very careful with it because you start losing your way. This is why I like painting dynamically. I like painting, I started talking about Marcus Aurelius and whatnot, and I started going into the face only. And then therefore I start thinking about it. And when I start thinking about it, I start losing it. I start losing the spontaneity, something like that. I don't become spontaneous anymore, and that is very critical in painting. You must remain spontaneous in painting. Okay? If you're not spontaneous in painting, this type of painting, anyways, you start losing what the whole thing is about. Okay? I'm not here to teach anyone how to paint. I'm just showing you guys how I do it. Okay? And the way that I do it, the way that I always win at this game, always win at it, is that I become spontaneous. And when I feel like I'm losing at a painting, I don't leave it alone. Well, sometimes I do. But I don't go, I'm going to step back. No, I become spontaneous with it. I start doing something that completely makes absolutely no sense. And then I find my way back. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Just a little lesson there for those of you who are artists. And this I learned from Degas. He didn't teach it to me though. The guy who paints the ballerinas, Edgar Degas, he didn't teach it to me. But all you gotta do is pay attention. Pay attention to what they said. Look at what he said. Only when an artist does not know what he's doing something good. I only had to read that a few hundred times to start getting it. To start getting about what the hell he was talking about. He's talking about being spontaneous. He's talking about the art of not thinking, which is the highest art. He's talking about that. Monet and everybody talked about it. They all touched on it. They all talked about it. He's talking about find your way through non-identification, right? Find your way through non-identification. I highly recommend that to any aspiring artist. Find your way through non-identification. See, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? I don't know what I'm doing. And that is a good thing. The problem is when I think I know what I'm doing, that's the real problem. But if I don't know what I'm doing, I know I'm being guided by God. Right? If you don't know what you're doing, you are being guided. If you know what you're doing, you probably don't know what you're doing. Just a little. If you know what you're doing, you probably have no idea what you're doing. If you claim to know. If you don't know, maybe I think you're onto something good. Not knowing is the entry point of all wisdom. This is why the great philosophers, who was it? I think it was Socrates or was it Plato? I think it was Socrates, no? That said, all I know is that I do not know anything. There is no creativity, there is no wisdom without not knowing. If you do not know, you are miles ahead of the game. The problem is the people that know. That's the problem. You start knowing, you're like, oh my God, I know what to do next. Then you're in a pickle. Maybe it's when you don't know what you're doing that you're actually being one with it. And it takes a little bit of humility. It's a little bit difficult because the artist always seems to fall into a place where we want to know. I think when we want to know stuff becomes a very comfortable place. It becomes a very comfortable. The wanting to know something becomes extremely comfortable. I want to know, but I want to know. This is why I have so much fun with artists when I have so much fun. When they ask me, like, how did you know what to do there? I'm like, I did not know what to do there. I feel like Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And yet somehow all seems to fall into place. Someone told me, are you just shooting from the hip? I'm like, even that sounds too sophisticated for me. I don't think I'm shooting from, I didn't even know I was shooting. Even that sounds too sophisticated for my style. But yeah, someone did ask me, are you always shooting from the hip? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever he said. Yeah, that. That makes me sound smart. So, maybe it's about trying to hit a little bit. I'm going to reinforce a little bit of the line and the shadows and whatnot. Just a little bit, not too much. Just a little bit. in threes. You know, when they come in threes, they make a little bit more sense. And then, and maybe I can do a little highlight at the end. Some white here. Just a little bit. And then, ooh la la, baby, there it is. I believe so. I might do a little retouch. I don't know. It seems like there it is. We'll see with it. But so far, I think this is going to be where we stop here. Whoops, sorry about that. So far. That way we can move on. Okay? It's not good to stay too long. All right, guys. Take care. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and goodbye.